is Charles T. Thomas Jr. I'm here to talk about terror here in America, Woke, Oklahoma. We have a situation where we filed a hate crime. It's been over 2 months ago. Nothing's been done. This pattern shows throughout the government. It's no different than the youth that we have that's being shot down every day. Nothing's been done. This is a pattern that's been going on for many years. We can have our marches, that's fine. Peaceful, that's fine. But it still don't stop the facts that the shootings continue. There's another form of terror in America as well. That is through the form of the Department of Human Services and the ones that's under them. They terrorized my family and many others. When you traumatize a family, you do not give the family the counseling that they need for 17 years, that's terror. Any counselor can look at the documents that my family has and the conditions that me and my family found ourselves in, that it is terror. This was done deliberately. Mr. Frank Keating, it started with him, with you. You helped bring terror into my family's life. We came into the state capitol, spoke with your liaisons, and fell on deaf ears. The Department of Human Services continued to rage on. This was back in 1998, 99, during the time when we was going into the office. You can go into all the rest of the offices, the client advocacy, all the rest of these places they have where you're supposed to be able to go, such as the sheriff's department, your local police authorities. Nothing is done. Nothing is done. It's the same thing with the shootings. Nothing is done. It's all justified. Okay? Meaning, in the Department of Human Services, no one there has to be accountable. When they terrorized my family, Mr. Lane, West Lane, knew about this. His secretary, Sheila, remember Mr. Lane? Sheila worked for you for 6 years. She told me that you told her to keep you informed on how that DHS case was going. She went further to tell me that the only reason why that you picked up 4 of my children there in Oklahoma City was because the Department of Human Services did not tell you the truth. We have a situation just like that, okay, where Mr. Lane knew how my family had been traumatized, how they had been abused, because he picked up 4 of my daughters all alone. I have here a press release dated back Wednesday, July the 11th, 2012, where Governor Fallon named West Lane chairman of DHS Commission. Mr. Brad Henry, you brought terror into my family's life through by, I call neglect, when we came into the office and asked for help, and it still fell on deaf ears. Knowing my family was in the condition that they were in because I told you, just like I told the liaisons of Mr. Frank Keating. We're starting to form a pattern here. Okay? Mrs. Fallon, I came into your office, spoke to your liaisons about the trauma and the things that's illegally been done to my family. it fell on deaf ears. I want the world to know that you are the top people here in this state and the FBI, okay, OSBI, and everybody else that I've contacted. You all know what was going on with my family as far as the terror that was allowed to take place within my household, that the government allowed to happen. You know, this is the first time I've seen the United States where elected officials have brought terror into the homes of civilians, and nothing's done. That terrorized my family. My family suffers to this day, will suffer for the rest of our lives. If that ain't terror, I don't know what is. We talk about homegrown terror. What about the terror that's in the government? We got the election coming up. I've listened to the people that's running for election. Mrs. Clinton, Mr. Trump, all the rest of the people. I have not heard not one person address this issue of terror that I'm talking about here now. It's terror when they cutting the food stamps, knowing that that is cutting days of food from the children here in Oklahoma. But they got money to spend on other things. So that tells me one thing, that our children is not important to our government. Look at the history. That's something that we should not forget, is the history. These things been happening for many years. This shooting and killing of the young black males, the destroying of the black families by the government. Why I say that? I reported it to the government. Everybody that I could report it to, I have reported it to. And you know, including the news media. You know, you can go to the places where you think that you're going to get some help. The news media, your local newspaper, you know, no one's going to take any information that's pertaining to anything that's against the government. Well, I got news for you. I'm not saying that everybody in the government is wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the people that's bringing the terror to the people, okay, needs to be addressed and needs to stop. Okay, these things is wrong and it's illegal. I have information here about the hate crime that I reported. The hate crime, what I am calling a hate crime, is the denial of services from the departments for 17 years, knowing my family and I needed the help, the mental help, to keep our family stable from the things that the state put my family through. We have the documents. The Department of Human Services clearly states that my family and I was traumatized while my children was in state custody. This was back years ago. The trauma continued on, and it continues to this day. Because when I went in and asked for counseling for my family, I was told there was no guidelines, there was no format, that there was nothing that no counselor could do. I also reported this to the police department, local authorities here. Okay, same thing. Told me and my wife that we've been counseling traumatized children more than anybody in the state. Okay, that was a counselor there in Milwaukee there, okay, that told us this. So go home and good luck. So after the 17 years of this go home and good luck and the things that happen with the schools, some of my children missed 4 or 5 years out of school due to the fact that the state the schools participated with the state, meaning the Department of Human Services and their participants, to deny my children an education. Okay. Truancy violations was filed against me in Seminole. I was dismissed out of court. I have the documents right here. Okay. You take a child that's been out of school for 4 years due to the fact that the state is not willing to follow the guidelines in order to keep a child safe under the IEP law. Under Title 10, it clearly states that we're not supposed to be doing anything but what's in the best interest of the children. The things that happen to my children and the things that I see that's going on here now, that system is still in play. These people I still see walking around doing the same things. Okay, Mr. Paul Smith, you brought a lot of trauma. A lot of trauma. Mr. Tim Olson, you brought a lot of trauma. He's a judge now. Brought a lot of trauma to my family's life when this was evolving back in the early stages, when it easily could have been stopped if the law and the protocol had been followed. Ever since then, it's been a domino effect, one after another, to the point now to where medication has to be involved. I have children that's incompetent, okay, to where it's terror. That's the only word that I could find to tell you. Who's next? Who's next? This was happening back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Who were on the 2000s? So you don't think the government don't know what's going on here? You don't think the government can't do nothing? Well, I got a question for the people that's running for presidency and the president. If you all can't stop your agencies from abusing your own citizens, how in the world do you think you're going to go and govern the United States of America? Now, that is something that's just really confounding to me, that you all have the tenacity to sit up here and want to say you want to be the president, but nobody, including the president, has solved the problem that's here in the communities of the brown-skinned people here in America. We also notice one other thing. The bombs that it brings. It also rains on nothing but brown people. Okay? I am treated like I have done something wrong. I am treated like a criminal by my own law enforcement, by denial, by the DHS, by denial of my rights, my family's rights. And the rights that I'm referring to is pertaining to your mental health, your mental ability. Okay? These things should not never, ever come into play when we're talking about the government. 3 governors, okay? All the client advocacy, Ronell Dyson, Judith Mendadu, all of these names that we can come up here with, you know. Then we got Reverend Jesse Jackson, okay? This is happening all over America. Where is he at? Where is Reverend Al Sharpton at? It's not like this is a secret. This is what I call silent terror that no one is discussing and talking about, that the ones cannot speak for themselves, and the children is being abused in the system. That's what I'm doing. My name is Charles T. Thomas Jr. I'll be back. There's plenty more. Thank you.